Let's talk about that headline, shall we? The one that probably brought you here today? The promise of a 5-minute routine that somehow beats a 30-minute walk. If you're anything like me, a headline like that sets off a few alarm bells. It sounds a little too good to be true, doesn't it? It smells like the kind of clickbait that promises miracle cures and six-pack abs overnight. And you know what? You're right to be skeptical. So let me be perfectly clear right from the start. That headline is misleading. The goal of this video is not to convince you to replace your daily walk. In fact, it's the exact opposite. My goal today is to show you something much more powerful, much more realistic, and frankly, much more useful for your long-term health and independence. We're going to talk about a simple 5-minute routine that you can do during a coffee break, one that supports your 30-minute walk. It doesn't beat it. It makes it better. It makes it safer. It makes it more effective. Think of your daily walk as the foundation of your health, and it is. But this little routine? This is the steel frame we're going to build on top of that foundation to make the entire structure stronger, more stable, and more resilient for years to come. We're going to debunk the myth that you need to punish your body to get results. We'll look at what top-tier institutions like Harvard and Johns Hopkins medicine have to say about what truly works for maintaining strength and mobility as we get older. We're going to walk through, step by step, a handful of movements so simple and safe you can do them in your own kitchen while you wait for the kettle to boil. And most importantly, we're going to give you a clear, simple action plan that takes away the fear and confusion so you can start building strength and confidence today, not someday. So if you're ready to move beyond the hype and learn a practical, science-backed strategy to protect your independence and feel stronger in your daily life, you are in exactly the right place. And a quick but very important reminder, I am not a doctor, and this video is for informational purposes only. The information shared here is based on publicly available research from respected institutions, but it is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Please, listen to your body and never do anything that causes sharp pain. All right, let's start with the hero of our story, something you might already be doing, your daily walk. I want to take a moment to validate that choice because it is one of the single best things you can do for your body and your mind. In our fast-paced world, walking is often seen as less than. We're told we need to be running marathons or doing high-intensity interval training, or HIIT, to see any real benefits. But that's a dangerous oversimplification. A landmark study from researchers at Harvard University looked at this exact question. They compared moderate-intensity walking with vigorous running and found something fascinating. For the same amount of energy spent, walking offered similar reductions in the risk for high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and diabetes. Let me repeat that. Your daily walk is a powerhouse for managing some of the most critical health markers we face. It's brilliant for your heart. It helps regulate blood sugar, and it's a proven balm for mental clarity and mood. The power of walking, even in short bursts, cannot be overstated. We live in a world that encourages us to sit at the desk, in the car, on the couch, and that prolonged sitting can be incredibly detrimental. But here's the good news. Researchers from Columbia University discovered an incredible antidote. They found that walking for just 5 minutes for every half hour of sitting can significantly offset these harmful effects. In their study, these short exercise snacks reduced blood sugar spikes after a meal by a staggering 58% compared to sitting all day. So your 30-minute walk isn't just a block of exercise. It's a vital part of a healthy lifestyle. It is, and should remain, non-negotiable. It is the king of accessible, sustainable movement. So if walking is so great, why do we need anything else? Well, because walking is primarily a forward motion activity. It's fantastic for cardiovascular endurance, but it doesn't systematically challenge all the muscles and movements we need for a key goal as we age: preventing falls and maintaining the strength to navigate everyday life with ease. This is where our 5-minute coffee break routine comes in. Think of it as your functional strength and balance toolkit. It's not about getting sweaty or out of breath. It's about waking up and reinforcing the very muscles that keep you steady on your feet and strong in your daily tasks. It fills in the gaps that walking alone can miss. So let's get practical. Let's build this routine, one simple, powerful movement at a time. The first exercise is perhaps the most fundamental movement we do every single day, dozens of times, without even thinking about it. It's the chair squat, or as it's often called, the sit to stand. Let me paint you a picture. You're visiting friends, and you settle into their beautiful, modern, but very low-slung sofa. You have a wonderful conversation, but then it's time to leave. And as you go to stand up, you find yourself needing to rock back and forth a few times to get momentum, maybe pushing off your knees with a little grunt. Or perhaps you have to ask for a hand to help pull you up. It's a small moment, but it can feel frustrating, even a little embarrassing. The sit to stand directly addresses this. It's not about building huge bodybuilder legs. It's about preserving the dignity and ease of getting up from any chair, any toilet, or out of any car, unassisted. The simple science here is that this movement strengthens the biggest muscles in your body: your quadriceps on the front of your thighs, your hamstrings on the back, and your glutes. These are your body's engine. When they are strong, every step you take is better supported, and the strain on your knees and your lower back is dramatically reduced. It's the foundation of lower body power. I remember my own grandfather, a proud man who could fix anything around the house. But in his later years, his favorite armchair became something of a trap. He loved that chair, but getting out of it became a visible, multi-stage effort. He'd place his hands, brace himself, and push with everything he had. We eventually got him a lift chair, which helped. But I often wonder how much longer he could have maintained that specific piece of independence if he had consistently practiced this one simple movement. So here is your action step. Find a sturdy, stable chair that won't slide. A dining room chair is perfect. Stand in front of it with your feet about shoulder width apart, your toes pointing forward. Now, with control, as if you're about to sit down, lower your hips back and down until your bottom just barely taps the chair. Keep your chest up and your back straight. The moment you tap the chair, without fully sitting or resting, push through your heels to stand back up to the starting position. That's one repetition. The key is control, not speed. If this is challenging, you can start by actually sitting down completely and then focusing on standing back up without using your hands. Aim for 8 to 10 controlled repetitions. Now for the red flags. When should you be cautious? If you feel a sharp, pinching pain in your knees or your hips, that is your body's signal to stop. A feeling of muscle fatigue or a gentle burn is normal and good. A sharp pain is not. If that happens, try not going down as deep, or simply stick to practicing the standing up part from a seated position. If the pain persists, that's a conversation to have with your doctor or a physical therapist. Now that we've fired up the powerful muscles of our lower body, the ones that carry us through our walks and up from our chairs, let's turn our attention to the upper body. Our next movement addresses the strength we need to push and interact with the world around us. This brings us to our second exercise, the wall push-up. Imagine you're at the grocery store and you've got a full cart. You need to push it up a slight incline in the parking lot to get to your car. Or maybe you're trying to open a heavy glass door at a department store. These actions require a baseline of upper body and core strength that we often take for granted until it starts to fade. The wall push-up is the perfect way to safely build and maintain this strength without ever having to get down on the floor, which can be a real barrier for many of us. What makes this so effective is how it engages not just your arms and shoulders, but your chest and your core muscles. Think of your core, your abdominal and lower back muscles, as a natural corset. When it's strong and engaged during a pushing motion, it stabilizes your entire torso and protects your spine from strain. A wall push-up teaches your body to work as an integrated unit, which is exactly how we use it in real life. It's not just arm strength, it's whole body stability. I have a friend, Carol, who is in her early 70s and fiercely independent. Last year, she had a minor stumble while gardening. She didn't fall hard, but she ended up on her hands and knees. She told me later that the scariest part wasn't the stumble itself, but the moment she realized she didn't feel confident in her ability to push herself back up. That experience was a wake-up call. She started doing wall push-ups every morning, not to get buff, but to reclaim that specific, crucial skill, the strength to get up from the ground. It gave her an incredible sense of security. Here's your action step. Stand facing a clear wall, about arm's length away. Place your palms flat on the wall, slightly wider than your shoulders, at about shoulder height. Your fingers can point up. Take a small step back so your body is in a straight line from your head to your heels, like a standing plank. Now, slowly bend your elbows and lean your body toward the wall, keeping your back straight. Go until your nose is close to the wall, then press firmly back to the starting position. That's 1 rep. The further you place your feet from the wall, the more challenging it will be. The closer your feet are, the easier it is. Find the distance that allows you to do 8 to 10 repetitions with good, controlled form. What are the red flags here? If you feel any sharp pain in your shoulders or your wrists, stop. This could mean your hand placement isn't right for you, or that there's an underlying issue. Try adjusting the width of your hands or turning them slightly outward. If pain in the shoulder joint persists, this is absolutely something to discuss with your doctor, as it could be a sign of a rotator cuff issue. Safety first, always. From pushing with our upper body, let's travel down to the very foundation of our movement, the part of our body that connects us to the ground. Our third exercise focuses on an area that is critical for both stability and circulation, but is often neglected: our calves and ankles. This brings us to the countertop calf raise. Think about a common, everyday movement, reaching for a coffee mug or a plate on the top shelf of your kitchen cabinet. What do? You instinctively rise up onto your toes to get that extra inch or two of height. That simple action requires calf strength and ankle stability. Or picture yourself walking on a gravel path or a slightly uneven lawn. Your ankles are constantly making tiny adjustments to keep you balanced. Weak calves and stiff ankles can make you feel unsteady and can also contribute to issues like poor circulation in the lower legs. The real power of this exercise lies in its dual benefit. First, it strengthens the gastrocnemius and soleus muscles, your calf muscles, which act as powerful levers for pushing off the ground when you walk. Second, the repeated pumping motion of a calf raise acts like a secondary heart for your lower legs. It helps squeeze deoxygenated blood back up towards your heart, improving circulation and helping to reduce the swelling that many people experience after long periods of sitting, like on a plane or a long car ride. My father used to complain about heavy legs at the end of the day. His ankles would be slightly swollen, and he'd say his legs just felt tired and full. His doctor mentioned it was likely due to venous insufficiency, a common issue where blood pools in the lower legs. Alongside wearing compression socks on long trips, his physical therapist gave him one simple exercise to do several times a day: calf raises. He would do them while brushing his teeth or waiting for his toast. Within a few weeks, he noticed a significant difference. His legs felt lighter, and that end-of-day swelling was noticeably reduced. So here is your action step. Stand facing your kitchen counter or the back of a sturdy chair, placing your hands on it lightly for balance. Your feet should be about hip-width apart. Slowly, press down into the balls of your feet to raise your heels up as high as you comfortably can. Pause for a moment at the top, feeling the squeeze in your calf muscles. Then, with just as much control, slowly lower your heels back to the floor. Don't just let them drop. The controlled lowering is just as important as the lift. Aim for a set of 10 to 15 repetitions. The red flag to watch for here is a sudden, sharp cramping in your calf that feels like a Charlie horse. If this happens, stop and gently stretch the muscle by pulling your toes toward your shin. A little muscle fatigue is expected, but a severe cramp means you might be overdoing it or could be dehydrated or low on minerals like potassium or magnesium, which is a good topic for your next doctor's visit. And now for our final movement in this short routine. We've built strength in our legs, our upper body, and our calves. Now we tie it all together with the one exercise that many experts, including those at Johns Hopkins Medicine, consider the single most important thing an older adult can do to improve balance and prevent a life-altering fall. We are going to practice the single leg stance. Imagine stepping off a curb that's a little higher than you expected, or walking across your lawn when you don't see a small dip in the ground. In those moments, your entire body weight is on one leg for a split second. Your ability to stabilize yourself in that instant is the difference between catching your balance and taking a tumble. Every single step we take is, in essence, a tiny act of balancing on one leg. By practicing this intentionally in a safe environment, we are training our brain, our nerves, and our muscles to work together to keep us upright. The science behind this is a concept called proprioception. It's your body's internal sense of where it is in space. This exercise fine-tunes that sense. It forces the small stabilizer muscles in your hips, your core, and all the way down your leg and into your ankle to fire and make constant, tiny adjustments. It's like tuning an instrument. The more you practice, the more in tune and responsive your balance system becomes. I once spoke with a woman named Shirley who had a terrible fear of falling after she slipped on a wet patch of tile in a supermarket. For months, she walked with a shuffle, her eyes glued to the ground, her body tense. Her physical therapist didn't start with complicated machines. He started her with this: holding on to a countertop and trying to balance on one leg for just 5 seconds at a time. It was incredibly difficult for her at first, but she practiced every day. Over a few months, she worked her way up to 30 seconds. She said the biggest change wasn't just physical, it was mental. She regained the confidence to walk with her head up, to trust her body again. That is the power of this exercise. Your action step is simple, but safety is paramount. Stand next to your sturdy kitchen counter or a heavy piece of furniture. Place one hand on it for support. Now, shift your weight onto one leg and slowly lift the other foot off the floor just an inch or two. Keep your standing leg slightly bent, not locked. Focus on keeping your torso upright and your gaze fixed on a spot on the wall in front of you. Your goal is to hold this position. At first, you might only hold it for 5 seconds, and that is a fantastic start. Try to work your way up to holding it for 30 seconds on each leg. The key is to use the counter for support as much as you need. Maybe you just rest your fingertips on it. The goal isn't to be a daredevil. The goal is to be safe while you challenge your balance. A red flag here is obvious but important. If you feel very wobbly or dizzy, hold on firmly and put your foot down. This is not an exercise to do if you are feeling unwell or lightheaded. It's meant to build stability, not test your limits in an unsafe way. Consistent, safe practice is what leads to progress. Okay, let's just take a quick pause and a deep breath. We have just walked through 4 simple but incredibly powerful movements. The sit-to-stand for lower body power, the wall push-up for upper body strength, the calf raise for stability and circulation, and the single leg stance for balance. Together, they take less than 5 minutes, but they target the precise areas that help maintain your independence and make your daily life easier and safer. If you're finding this breakdown helpful and you believe in this practical, no-hype approach to fitness, I would be so grateful if you took just a moment to tap that like button below. It truly helps get this message out to more people who need to hear it. Now, let's connect the dots. We've established that your walk is king, and we've built our 5-minute toolkit. The crucial question is, how do they work together? How does this little routine actually make your beloved walk better? This is where we shift from thinking either-or to a much more powerful both-and strategy. Think of your body like a car. Your daily walk is the engine. It's your cardiovascular conditioning, your endurance. It's what gets you from point A to point B. But this strength routine, this is your chassis, your suspension, and your tires. Stronger leg muscles from the sit-to-stands act as shock absorbers for your knees and hips. When you walk, especially on hard pavement, your joints take a pounding. But when the muscles around those joints are strong, they absorb a huge portion of that impact, leading to fewer aches and pains. If you have arthritic knees, building up your quadriceps and glutes is one of the most effective non-medical things you can do to provide support and reduce discomfort. Better balance from the single leg stance gives you confidence. It means you can walk on a grassy park trail, a cobblestone street on vacation, or a cracked neighborhood sidewalk without that nagging fear of a misstep. It allows you to lift your gaze from the ground and enjoy the world around you. And the upper body strength from wall push-ups, it contributes to better posture while you walk, preventing that forward slump that can lead to back and neck pain. This isn't about replacing your walk. It's about upgrading the vehicle that takes you on that walk. It's a powerful combination. Strength supports stamina. This brings us to a critical point about safety and intensity. There's a popular trend in the fitness world promoting high-intensity interval training, or HIIT, for everyone. And while it can be effective for some, we have to be smart about it. In fact, research has shown that a single bout of high-intensity exercise can temporarily impair balance in older adults, potentially increasing the risk of a fall for at least 10 minutes after the session. This is why our coffee break routine is built on slow, controlled movements. The goal isn't to jack up your heart rate. It's to build functional strength and stability in the safest way possible. So let's put it all together into your personal action plan. The most important words here are start slow and stay safe. One of the biggest mistakes people make when starting a new routine isn't doing too little. It's doing too much too soon, getting sore or injured, and then giving up entirely. The National Institute on Aging strongly advises a gradual approach. So here is my challenge to you. Don't try to do this 5-minute routine every single day right off the bat. Start with just 2 days a week, maybe on Mondays and Thursdays. Do one set of each of the 4 exercises. That's it. It's far better to be consistent with 2 days a week for a month than to go hard for 3 days and then stop because you're too sore. And before you begin, take just 30 seconds to warm up. A warm-up tells your body that it's time to move. It sends blood to your muscles and lubricates your joints. It doesn't need to be complicated. Simply march in place for 30 seconds and then do a few gentle arm circles forward and backward. That's all it takes to prepare your body for the movements to come. And please, listen to your body. Remember our mantra: muscle fatigue is the goal. Sharp pain is the signal to stop. There is no prize for pushing through pain. The real prize is being able to do this routine and your daily walk consistently and safely for years to come. So, as we wrap up, I want you to take a moment and recognize what you've gained today. This isn't just a list of exercises. This is a new framework for thinking about your own health and power. Let's count the wins. Win number 1. You now have the scientific proof from places like Harvard that your daily walk is an invaluable, non-negotiable pillar of your health. You can feel proud of that effort. Win number 2. You now possess a simple 5-minute toolkit that fills in the critical gaps walking can miss, specifically targeting the strength and balance you need for everyday life. Win number 3. You understand the powerful synergy between these 2 activities, how building strength directly supports your walking stamina and safety. And win number 4, perhaps the most important win of all, you have a clear, safe, and manageable plan to get started, one that respects your body and removes the fear of injury. You are in the driver's seat. You have the knowledge to build a more resilient, more confident, and more independent life. It doesn't require a gym membership or fancy equipment. It just requires a chair, a wall, and 5 minutes of your time, a few days a week. Now, I would love to hear from you. Which of these movements or concepts was the biggest aha moment for you? Was it the idea of the sit to stand as a tool for independence, or the role of calf raises in circulation? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Reading your experiences helps everyone in this community learn and grow together. And finally, if you enjoyed this practical, in-depth approach to senior fitness and well-being, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that little notification bell. We have so much more to share to help you on your journey of healthy, active aging. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Be well, stay empowered, and I'll see you in the next video.